Arch Linux. I'm not gonna say it, because I don't. Arch Linux is a distro I'm sure everyone watching is familiar with. It was started in 2002, taking considerable inspiration from the much more based Crux Linux, before slowly morphing into something all its own. Arch has well and truly reached meme status. Every femboy and wannabe hacker has, at one point or another, installed Arch and said the sacred phrase, magically earning themselves an infinite supply of Reddit updates and rising prowess. But in reality, Arch isn't the hot shit its users think it is. In my own personal testing for the purposes of this video, it's proven itself to be hardly more than just mid. Sure, the distro is bleeding edge, but you know what else is bleeding edge? Gentoo, Void, Slack Recurrent, Debian Sid. Need I go on? But I'm getting ahead of myself here. Let's actually test Arch out. The install process, much like the distro itself, is a complete meme. Users will say it's so insanely hard that only lead hackers with an IQ of 4 bazillion can install it. But I read the fucking manual. It ain't that tough, boy. Woohoo! Unfortunately, we've reached the zenith of our enjoyment here. For you see, the installation process of Arch precedes the actual experience of using the distro. Like using your own cum as lube. You already got the nut out, so where's the fun in continuing? No, sadly enough, the rest of the Arch experience is just mid and quite lackadaisical. Pac-Man is one of the less enjoyable package managers I've used, thanks to its syntax that's far from straightforward and really just sucks, to be honest. I find Portage on Gentoo to be just slightly worse, but that's a pretty low bar. A package manager in my book needs to be both powerful and easy to use. So what about AOR helpers like Yay? Well, for starters, I should mention that Arch officially doesn't support AOR helpers, so if something goes wrong for you, you're on your own, fuckboy. But back to Yay. Once again, I find its syntax to be confusing, yet as far as my testing has shown, it seems to be the most widely used AOR helper, and hence the default choice. And when you expressly need a separate package manager beyond the default to handle everything, you've kinda lost the plot. Additional package managers for certain things, like AppSource for Debian or SBOPKG for Slackware, are fine, since they serve a specific purpose, rather than being a full-on replacement for the default package manager. But the package manager should be intuitive, and definitive enough for these standard use cases, rather than leaving users to rely solely on a completely separate package manager to handle all their management for them. Of course, package management doesn't make or break a distro per se. There's plenty else to cover on Arch, but to lesser extents, so I'll go over them quickly. Managing system services is pretty simple. I mean, what can I say? It's systemd. I'm not an absolute loser who thinks Red Hat is out to get me, so systemd is fine for this. I still have more familiarity with sysvinit, but I can't complain. Next up is the desktop experience. I mean, this should be kind of a no-brainer since desktop environments and window managers are completely separate from the distros they run on, but it's fairly straightforward. I installed LXQt for this test, and it runs fine. And finally, there's stability. Overall, as long as you update often, Arch isn't as buggy as haters make it out to be, but it's still not perfect. Certainly better than Manjaro, however. So yeah, Arch Linux. Overall, I'll give it a 5.5 out of 10. Not the worst distro I've ever used, but certainly not the best. It's still Linux at the end of the day, so if you like ricing, which I didn't cover in this video because I don't care to expend that much effort for this dumb shitpost of a showcase, or if you like mildly questionable long-term stability and want maximum Reddit karma, then yeah, go for Arch, I guess. Now get out!